welcome back once again, Real People, Real Life, Wichita, Kansas, America, and with us again today. Ben. Again still. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to let you leave. Ben, all right, well, we were just starting to get into it. If you want to run for mayor in Wichita, the deadline is the 27th, and that's to file.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll get into the responsibilities of what it takes to be a mayor a little bit more in detail in a minute. Who do you know of that's running?
We got several names that have already either popped up or speculative. Former Mayor Bob Knight is looking at running. We have Sam Williams, a longtime name in the community. Sean Hatfield, he's an attorney with Mon and Mon. There, he's looking at running. Jennifer Wynn ran for governor in the primary last year. Is considering running, or is running. I guess he's already announced. There, and then Jeff.
Sorry.
Jeff Longwell plans to run as well, and has announced as well. So we have several names out there. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Look at the money trail. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these big players in previous elections get involved, who they're going to back.
I know.
If you're going to hedge your bets there, I would probably say you'd hedge your bets on Mayor Knight.
Yeah.
He's going to have the name ID. He's going to have the money resources. And his, we were talking earlier, he has the...
and the Shriners are behind him.
The reputation.
Well, he has the know-how.
Well, he has experience.
Exactly. He has the experience.
And a lot of people go back to, when Bob was mayor, things were good.
You hear that a lot. In fact, that was just said earlier. When Bob was mayor, this town was doing gangbusters good, okay, and with a lot less money in the kitty, okay. So I think a lot of people are going to remember that, and that's going to say a lot. And then we've got some other qualified folks out there, and then again, there's some folks that I just honestly, I'm beginning to wonder if they, if they were even there for a government class. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's definitely interesting.
I'm not sure if they wake up on the same planet we do.
I know, right?
Alien abduction.
They haven't gotten off the egg spaceship yet.
There you go.
I'm so thirsty.
It's going to be interesting just to see how this plays out there. If Bob decides not to get involved and not to get into this race, although I don't see that happening necessarily, but if he decides not to, then it's a free-for-all there. And I think you might see some other names get thrown in there if he doesn't. I think a lot of people are thinking, well, if Bob runs, he's going to have
There's no sense in anybody else running because he's got it hooked, line.
But I think you could see some other names thrown in there if he decides not to run.
When do you see him making that announcement?
Well, we're down to just a few weeks, so he has to do it before January 27th.
The day before,
26th. And that's the thing that he can afford to do. He can afford to wait.
Right.
He can until the very end. He's gonna, it's already been speculating, going around for a while.
It's been going around for several months.
Yeah. Dangling that carrot. That carrot's been hanging out there.
I know.
They made an official announcement a couple months ago at Pachyderm Club.
Yeah, and as long as he stays out of the limelight, right up to the 26th or something, and then he's not out there as a target. I mean, it's a smart tactic.
It's a very smart. It's smart. It's very smart.
Well, and when you look at the differing sides, we have your very libertarian side of government there and ideas that are out there, and those will lean more towards Sean in that regard. Then you have your city, doing everything, basically, the government, cronyism, if you want to go that route. There you look and see more towards Jeff Longwell, who's been involved in a lot of those decisions over the past several years. Bob Knight's always been a very pragmatic person.
Right.
You can't win every issue all the time.
Right.
And you better not be losing every issue all the time, or else you need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
Bob
I like
is very
about Bob.
good.
That's what I like about Bob.
So that's where he comes in very handy. He might not be as conservative as some people like, and he might not be as moderate on some issues as other people like. But
he's going to get the job done.
He does. He does, and that's going to be effective for him. It's going to be a good soundbite for him, really, in the future.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does. And then city council, who knows what we're going to get in there.
I know, that's going to be very fascinating.
Jeff C. I know Brian.
That's the next step in trampling rights.
Step 1 now, step 2.
Oh, Joe, we just love you. We just love you. Okay, now get into a little bit with me, Ben, on the job responsibilities.
I'm real curious to hear this.
Well, I mean, like I said, a lot of them are going to be. Wichita is a it's been really a one industry town for a long time, manufacturing primarily aircraft.
Yeah.
And that's a safe bet for us, really. We have the facilities here, we have the companies here. Do we want to abandon that to go after a multifaceted?
We're going to have to do something because the aircraft's leaving in droves.
They are trying to leave.
Yeah.
But do we have to just pick one?
another industry or
No,
another
do we have to
aircraft?
just pick one industry?
If
I mean,
we're
can't
smart,
we
we
do?
pick as many as we can.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
all along the same genre of manufacture, because somebody that turns wrenches on an aircraft can easily turn wrenches on an automotive product.
True story.
Yeah, and how do you want to diversify? It's going to be a big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tool making is tool making. Doesn't matter what the tool's used on. So
Exactly.
that's if the
Good
city's
jobs.
smart, they go after GM, they go after Ford, they go try to get Boeing back here. They
Right.
try to bring Airbus here in greater measure. But that's the core of our people are based on manufacture of metal products. So in that genre, you've got an awful lot of stuff you can look at.
Right.
And we got to decide how
of
competitive we
jobs.
want to be.
Right.
That's the thing is,
I say we go for it.
we can. I know there's a lot that are out there that say, well, government just needs to stay out of everything completely, and that's not going to be very helpful. Now, government ought not to be creating winners and losers. They ought not to be trying to prop up one and putting it against another one.
Right.
But at the same time, if city government's doing their job correctly, they're going to look to see how can we create the best atmosphere for jobs,
Right.
for companies to come here. That's
I
what we
agree.
want, is a good, positive
Right.
atmosphere. And you know what? If we're going to go after certain companies, let's go after them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we sell the farm on the deal
Right.
by any means, but I mean, if we're losing out
We are losing. We are losing
because
small
we don't want to play
businesses.
the game, that's
For me, it's a simple equation. If I've got Boeing out there that can bring that many employees into our market, that's going to create that many more small businesses to service those employees, and the small businesses make the most jobs. So I don't care if Boeing ever pays a nickel in property tax for their plant, because we're going to have all these taxpayers from all the people that they bring here. And you could apply that same model to Ford, anybody. Everybody complains about big business, but the reality is if the city were to cater to big business, it's small business that wins, because you bring all of that money here that small business gets to service. And the taxes will take care of themselves, because the more you spread out that tax base by bringing in more people who are spending money and buying
Right.
things, i.e. sales tax, the more money the city makes. It's a rather simple equation that most people just can't wrap their mind around, I'm afraid.
And we don't want to get caught with anything like a cylinder type deal where we're just throwing money down the. But at the same time, we just need to be smart about how we're doing that. I think creating the atmosphere is going to be the most important thing.
Yeah.
What is that right atmosphere for businesses to want to come here? Well, it's going to be lower taxes. There's going to be less regulation. That's such an
that's a
important thing.
big problem.
Regulations
Yeah.
just kill businesses.
My club alone spends $8,000 a month in taxes in one form or another, and I cleared $20,000 last year. There's a fundamental problem with this picture.
Yeah. And that's not just a local issue or a state issue. Even.
Right.
That's a national issue, and the Obama administration continues to pound out the regulations like none other. And so that's not helpful. But what can the local government do? What can state government do to really help create that atmosphere? And it's going to come. Let's be aggressive on some of these things. And so that's where I think Bob and I is going to have a big advantage in this. Going back to the local side, we don't want a city government though that can. We saw this play out when Michael O'Donnell was on city council. Very helpful in getting those no bid contracts to stop, because Key Construction was getting all these without any competition there whatsoever. We don't want government to stomp out competition, because if we
Right.
have monopolies, we know that's not going to be beneficial
Right.
in any way. But when we can create an atmosphere where any business can come in and thrive, that's what's so important.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. As big businesses succeed, small businesses are going to grow
Absolutely.
as a result
I
of
agree.
that. There,
Yeah.
as long as we're not putting all our eggs there, and
No, it needs to be spread out, and
Right.
Absolutely.
it needs to be, like you said earlier, and not picking winners. If Boeing gets a break on their property tax, Cessna gets the same break. Bombardier
Extend it
gets
to
the same
all
break.
the, like,
Yes,
markets,
you do the same thing for everybody there. Now you're going to have the little small guy off the side. Well, I'm a machine shop too. I don't want to get the same break. Well, then you start becoming a big aircraft, and you will. That
Setting
gives him incentive to
criteria.
want to grow.
that's right. That's what I'm saying. Competitive natures will come out. You know what I'm saying?
Competitiveness
Instead of
breeds
just
a lot of. You look
Growth.
at our country as a whole. It's succeeded based upon the very principle of
being competitive.
of competitiveness.
Yeah.
And
there.
doing more and more for more and more people for less and less money. Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie both said the way to get rich is to do more and more for more and more people for less and less money. We've
That's
lost
right.
control of that
That's right.
concept. Everybody's just more for me. I'm
That's
all
right.
for
Gimme,
one, and I'm
gimme.
the one.
Don't you agree though that when the mayor and the city council members meet on a regular basis and they discuss the options for the public, that it would be better if they had open communication?
there needs there doesn't.
I know I was going to choke you up on that one.
Oh, there's the answer we're looking for.
I know. I didn't even put you on the spot, but
No, that's okay.
I see a lot of times that there is a communication.
There is. That's where those DAB meetings can become so important. Finding out when your district holds their district advisory board meeting, where it's at. There's an open time for any citizen to be able to come and address the DAB.
Right.
And so that includes the member of the city council as well as the members on that board. So finding out when those meetings are held, where they're at, and then going to them.
Exactly.
And that's going to be a big part there.
Well, did you say between the mayor and the city council there needs to be open communication?
Advisory board.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is there not?
Well,
I mean, I don't understand that.
it happens,
We want to show you
sometimes
dabs, yeah.
with different political folks. Once they get in a position or whatever, I just think it becomes an ego sometimes, and they're
power
more busy. They're more busy concentrating on their ego and what's going to feed maybe what's best solely for maybe their area and not for the betterment of an entire city.
People are too hung up on themselves. The reason I don't like these district advisory boards is every time I've had to deal with one, you've got a group of people that have gotten together, and it's just like three friends. Three friends get together, they're going to go have a good time. Invariably, two wind up ganging up on one. Now, you see the same thing, district advisory boards. We have a group of people all come down there to complain about this guy. Now, this guy's been living there for 20 years, but now all of a sudden everybody else is going to tell him how to live because they don't like something about him.
All right.
What happened to his rights? That's what America was built on, was individual rights, not group rights. District advisory boards are about group rights. Don't like them, don't care for them, don't like the people that support them.
Yeah.
Well, there's two sides of that argument, and we'll get into that on the fourth segment, actually.
Okay.
So-
But don't you think, though, that to me, whether you're talking city, county, state, federal, and I'm not even going to limit this to the United States because I see it going on in Australia, I see it going on in South America, Brazil, as a matter of fact. I mean, I see this going on in Greece. I see this going on where, the people don't feel like they're being listened to.
Well, that's going to be very important, and I know that they're about to wrap up here on this segment here. But for instance, tomorrow our new Congress takes place.
Right.
They'll be seated there, so we're looking at a new Congress beginning. And tomorrow we're going to be voting on a new Speaker of the House.
I know.
And Louis Gohmert from Texas has announced his bid
I didn't know that.
to
Okay.
take on John Boehner.
Wow.
Great.
And
Yeah.
so call your representatives. Call Mike Pompeo's office. Call Tim Huelskamp. Call Kevin Yoder. Call Lynn Jenkins. That one's going to be a hard one to knock. But call them and say, hey,
Get
we're
involved.
tired of Boehner.
Get
We're tired of
involved,
being
yeah.
Oh,
bulldozed
no
there.
kidding.
And really, we just need, I think it's 28, 29 votes
Really, that's it?
That's
to
it?
be able to redo things.
But Boehner goes through Kleenex too much. I will be right back. All right, real people, real life. Hey, yes, I said that.
Okay.
Real People, Real Life is brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Credit King Auto Sales is getting better all the time. We're doing it better. We're doing it better all the time.
The King, Credit King Auto Sales, the biggest buy here, pay here in Kansas. The King's Corner, 31st Street South and Broadway. The King knows you worked hard for your tax refund. The King will give you more for it. The King of buy here, pay here. The King of low down payments. Bad credit, no problem with the King. The King does it better than all the rest. GoCreditKing.com.
Hi, I'm Samantha
And I'm Mike. I'm Domingo.
with Economy Motors. Tax time is right around the corner, and we're here ready to help you with your transportation needs. We offer a wide variety of quality vehicles priced $12,995 and under with easy approval and easy terms. Bad credit, no worries. Your job is your credit at Economy Motors, 2305 South Broadway, where we've got your back.
Economy Motors! 'Cause at Economy Motors, we got your back.
welcome back to Real People, Real Life. This segment we have some wonderful guests. Dawn, why don't you tell us about
Well,
them?
we've got Abigail Krause from the Wichita Public Library. She works in the marketing and stuff, communications. And then Dr. Carla Lee from La Familia Senior Center over on 21st Street. So we're here to talk about an exciting new program that Wichita Independent Neighborhoods has put together with the Wichita Public Library. It's going to be called City 101, and it's a civic course for civic engagement. So this was a great lead-in with Ben today. A lot of the things, the questions that came out, we're going to cover. It's a 5-part series. We have 5 different classes lined up. We'll repeat them twice at a minimum, more if the demand's they're out for it. But we're going to talk about the city council, the mayor, that's number 1, and the city manager, which we did not touch at all with Ben. He's a critical piece of this equation.
Yeah, very important.
Very, and we're going to talk about that. Then number 2, we'll talk about all the city departments, the type of things that Joe has maybe a problem with from time to time. We're going to talk about all of them in contact points. And 3, we're going to talk about, well, Dr. Lee, please.
Yeah, we have 5, and I think Don summarized that very well. I've been teaching for a half a century, so this is neat to head to the community from the community citizen perspective of how to get involved in your city. So we're hoping to show, of course, interest first. The previous segment was wonderful. And out of interest would come need for information. A lot of the questions we're asking for information. Then out of information would become, how do I get involved? What do I sign up for? What do I enroll in? What do I do? And then lastly, our theme is empowerment. We're hoping to get citizens empowered into making a difference in this city so that the impact of their work can be seen.
So are these classes that are being offered? Where do we go for this?
Well, it's Wichita Public Library, the central location. I'm sorry.
There's
How about you tell us?
You've got the dates.
Yeah.
We are involved just to sort of host these classes. Part of our mission as a library is to help educate the community. And I think as all of us at one point or another have experienced that time where we felt frustrated and like our voice wasn't being heard.
Right.
And this is a really cool program because it shows you exactly how you get your voice heard. And as someone who works for the city, I will tell you at those district advisory boards, we hear directly from council members. It goes to the council members, to the city manager, to my boss, to me. Really? I often hear stuff, if it has to do with something with the library that I need to work on. We get a lot of feedback from those, but that's not the only way to get your voice heard.
Yeah. And our hope is, and I love what you're saying, Abby, our hope is to go one more step down from DABs to citizens.
Right.
Through our neighborhoods. Because there it's more casual, it's a little less formal. But it's citizens that are interested in certain things. We've done a lot of library features. So the other thing I guess I'll share it, I'm president of the largest neighborhood association in Wichita.
Awesome.
Which is Westlink Neighborhood Association.
Oh, yeah, that's our most popular library.
Yeah, and I involved the library immediately into our center because we have a lot of people that are interested in information. And we do that kind of searching. So the Westlink Library, which is the most used branch in the city, is our neighbor.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Because, that's my area.
Yeah.
That little branch does so much business.
Well, that's awesome. That means that all these reading programs that we have offered and everything are actually working. You can see the effects of them by bringing them into the libraries.
So our partnership with the library here, we love, because if we can partner, the Umbrella for Neighborhood Association partners with the city library plus all its branches, then hopefully we'll get more requests for more information and searching on the computers and see how you can get involved in City Hall. Now, we plan to teach in a 5 series. The first one is overview of the whole course, which is this
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
That class is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Where do you go?
Central Library.
Downtown.
Just the Central Library.
223 South Main Street.
223 South Main Street.
And each first Wednesday will be at downtown.
Okay.
And then each third Wednesday, we'll rotate out to a branch library.
So you'll be meeting the first and the third of every month?
Yes.
The first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of every month.
So if you miss the first, it'll be the same class taught
Okay.
on first and third.
Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
miss the first, you can grab the third. So
And that was our plan, so if people did miss one, they could maybe catch a second one. If they finish all 5, it doesn't matter if it's downtown or branch, we're going to give a certificate for actually...
Does it cost to go to this
all
class?
free, open to all ages, open to all genders,
Really?
open to anybody.
Yeah. If you
It's-
want to learn more, come on down.
It's all free.
At 6 o'clock tomorrow night?
6:30.
6:30.
and it's nice
Wednesday.
because just an hour a week, you can take what is seemingly a very intimidating process and an intimidating government structure,
Right.
and work through it so it's not so.
So you understand it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just easy to understand and see what you can do for your neighborhood.
Yeah, we've worked to design the course at about middle school or maybe first year in high school levels, so it'll be simpler terms and how to engage.
That
So
was for me, so I
so
can-
our second class will be actually going over the department. So this previous segue was wonderful for what we're doing. You know, what does the manager do? What does the mayor
Exactly.
do? And we'll be going over the 3 kinds of city governments, and then we'll use Wichita as our example. Our third course will be on how to start a private organization, a non-governmental organization. So we'll go over how to file with the Secretary of State, how to start a new organization, how to get a board established, how to decide what your vision and mission is. And then our fourth class will be actually writing the bylaws for those groups so that we can see how law works from the federal. I love the previous segue
Because it's really exactly what led us into this.
Yes.
Yeah.
This gives the explanation of all
Yeah.
those questions we were asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
right.
we'll-
Because your average Joe does not know this information.
that's what-
We understand the sort of layout, but
Yeah. Well,
the
we'll
details.
have you come. We'll have the information. We'll have handouts that you can take home and stay with us. We do want people to eventually go through all 5. Absolutely.
And then our fifth one is leadership skills and styles. So what we're hoping to do, and I loved what Don was doing in the previous one, he talked about pragmatism, he talked about classicalism, he talked about idealism. He didn't use all those words, but he was catching those kinds of leadership styles. We'll actually be looking at that. So if you're a pragmatist, you might want to start out just helping with the cleanup in a neighborhood because it serves a very practical purpose. If you're an idealist, you might want to rewrite an ordinance for the city and change a whole system because you don't like how the system works. So in our last one, we'll actually be looking for segues for different leaders, and we have a tool we'll be giving where they identify their behaviors and what style they maybe are. And in this first session, we have a tool we'll be giving where they identify their core values of their own life, and then maybe somehow their value could fit into some system.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
To make it-
identify possible future leaders,
Yeah, very much so.
or maybe help them identify themselves.
Identify
Yes.
themselves and then where they would fit to make a difference.
Because I honestly believe that everybody's core, they want to help
Oh, very-
change the world in the way that, is a good
Yeah.
way.
See, we'll sign
Well, I
you up
think
for
we
it.
all have that. See,
Yeah.
I loved what you said about yourself, Princess. We all have identities.
Right.
And out of this, each citizen should know they're part of an identity. I'm a Wichitahan, and what do I bring to Wichita? Not just what does Wichita
Have
bring
for
to
me.
me.
Yeah.
What do I bring to Wichita? Now, I was raised in rural, and so being accepted in this large metropolis has actually been somewhat difficult for me. So I'm going to use some of those analogies that we have to find how we fit. And then once we find a place to fit, then we have something to give. But
Right.
the conglomerate or aggregate of every citizen is the branding of Wichita.
Yeah, because we're all Wichitans,
Yeah.
right?
No. Yes, absolutely. Now, the library does a lot of things. I'm very impressed when I was doing the research to get a partnership with them. It just blew me away how many award-winning national programs Wichita has for our Wichita Public Library. I'm a big supporter.
Like what?
Tell us about the Academy Award thing. I'm really happy about it.
This year is our 29th year of our Academy Awards short films program. When this started way back when, almost 30 years ago, we were the first organization of our kind to get these films. And when it started, some of them are foreign films. We had librarians on.
I think I remember something about this when I was in high school.
Probably.
Yeah.
They were on the phone at like 2 in the morning trying to get the rights to all these films and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's grown, and we have these in February before the Oscars.
Really?
Yeah, so we screen those for
why don't I know about
2 weeks before.
That's why we're having them on.
Yeah.
Real people.
And it was amazing. Last year was my first year to do this, and I was at the one we did at the Warren Theater on the west side, and I saw people coming out of them like bawling. I saw people cracking up. It is such a cool program just to watch these films. And so we have 2 big days, one at the Orpheum on Valentine's Day. So
really?
Like hot date
Super hot date.
From 10 a.m. to
yes, GoPros.
We need to GoPros.
From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we show all of the 3 categories, which are documentary, animated, and live action.
So awesome.
And they're all 40 minutes or less. Usually the documentaries are like right at 40 minutes, but live action varies, and animated are quite a bit shorter. And then on Saturday the 21st, a week later, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we're at the West Side Warren showing all the categories. But if you can't go to either of those,
does that cost?
No, this is a completely free program. Yeah. And then, I mean, you have to buy your snacks and things, but.
Or put them in your purse and take them there. Just kidding.
I'm not condoning that.
I didn't say that.
You get frisked going to the door.
But you like, I know what you said on TV. Give me your snacks.
They'll see you. But you can bring snacks in your purse and come and see individual categories at the branches throughout that week too. Between the
branches of library.
Yeah, and all those are on our website. We'll have those listed. But February 14th through the 21st, we'll be showing those.
Is that just Wichita Public Library?
No, it's much more complicated.
Of course
We're working on it. It's www.wichita.lib.ks.us.
Look it up on Google.
One more time.
Google
Wichita.lib.ks.us.
Or Google Wichita Public Library.
Google that. Click on that.
But we also have, I should note, if you haven't seen any of these short films, we have some retrospectives we're showing of the last 20 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
you might, so that'll be
When
on
are
our
you doing
website too. But a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the end of January. So.
How fun!
Well,
Yeah.
And what's neat, we're hoping, now this is just a hope, with teaming with the library, we're hoping eventually that we'll get a national award on this citizen program with the National Neighborhood Association.
That's exciting and definitely something to hope for. You guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Thank you.
You guys, we'll see you next week.
Real life, real people.
Bye, Mom.
Thank you.
Bye, Mom.
The views expressed in the preceding program do not necessarily represent the views of this station or its management.
Credit King Auto Sales is getting better all the time. We're doing it better. We're doing it better all the time.
The King, Credit King Auto Sales, the biggest buy here, pay here in Kansas. The King's Corner, 31st Street South and Broadway. The King knows you worked hard for your tax refund. The King will give you more for it. The King of buy here, pay here. The King of low down payments. Bad credit, no problem with the King. The King does it better than all the rest. GoCreditKing.com.
Knapp Weaponry is the home of Wichita's newest indoor temperature-controlled shooting range. Mention this ad for 2-for-1 pricing weekdays from noon to 4. Knapp Weaponry is an NRA Business Alliance member that offers NRA and state-certified instruction classes, training, and women's unarmed self-defense classes. We buy and sell new and used guns and offer gunsmith services. Knapp Weaponry offers a free range session with the purchase of a new gun. We also offer transfer services and an array of ammo. Knapp Weaponry, the West Side's best-kept secret.
Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and the lowest prices store-wide. For all your special events, your friends at Hammond Liquor have what you need, from beer, wines, spirits, champagne, and more. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road. Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and lowest prices store-wide, wants to remind you of very important savings days. Wine Day, Tuesdays get 20% off. Beer Day, Wednesdays get 10% off. Microbrews and imports. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road.
Hi, I'm Samantha.
And I'm Mike.
I'm Domingo.
With Economy Motors. Tax time is right around the corner, and we're here ready to help you with your transportation needs. We offer a wide variety of quality vehicles priced $12,995 and under with easy approval and easy terms. Bad credit, no worries. Your job is your credit at Economy Motors, 2305 South Broadway, where we've got your back.
Economy Motors! 'Cause at Economy Motors, we got your back.